Welcome back, and today we have another week of Broadway grosses. Yes, I am in an echoey room. It's not the room I would normally be in, but that's okay. Let's get into the grosses. And Juliet went from 95% to 100%, going from 1,178,968 to 1,302,344. Definitely its best week. I think spring break and this time of the month shows tend to do really good. So and Juliet's making banana box office. This show's here to stay, guys. It's here to stay. I have nothing really to say on Juliet because it's doing big numbers. It's succeeding. What else is there to say? A Beautiful Noise isn't doing so beautiful, going from 71% last week to 67% this week, going from 884,498 to 781,921. And an average ticket of 126. Again, I don't know how this show's gonna do, but I have a feeling like it might not make it to next year. It's definitely not failing. It's kind of making its money, but this is very mediocre business that it's doing. To put it bluntly, this show isn't a huge expensive thing, so their operating costs are probably like 800, 900K, so they're making just about or a little bit below. So it's surviving, but it's very mediocre. Bad Cinderella continues to just disappoint, going from 80% last week to 84% this week, with an average ticket of only $67, going from 631,890 last week to 639,391. I think that once it gets basically no Tony noms, this show will probably close come August. Could it make it to the end of the year? Possibly. But I personally think there is no way it is still open at the end of the year. I cannot believe that. I think that maybe it'll do good over the summer, but I think once the fall hits, I could see it closing in November, December. It's closing this year. It's not gonna be here next year. That's all you need to know. Dancing also won't be here next year, but it is doing slightly better, going from 74% last week to 77% this week, going from 581,412 to 610,558. Camelot continues to do very well, going from 95% to 93%, going from 890,710 last week to 931,246 this week. Funny Girl went from 93% last week to 97% this week, going from 1,814,511 last week to 1,830,171 this week. Hadestown continues to do very strong, and just like the song at the end of the show said, spring will come again, because spring is being very graceful to Hadestown, going from 100% last week to 99% this week, going from 900,000 to 865,899, and the average ticket we were staying in the 120s, way better than what it was doing in the fall, and Hadestown might survive, guys. I might have been wrong. Again, as long as it doesn't go past 800,000, it is okay. But even in the 800,000 range, there is a bit of a risk, but if it can stay in the high 850s to 900,000s, I think we can safely say we'll be able to survive, but we'll see. Hamilton went from 1,992,316 last week to 2 million this week, going from 101% to 101%, so it stayed the same. Well, it went from 101.7 to 101.41. Harry Potter had a huge jump, going from 1,431,245 to 1,819,727, going from 92% to 99%. And Harry Potter's always been an underachiever. Like, the average ticket is $140, but most of the time it's like $120, $118, and it's still making money. It's not failing, but I think it definitely is an underwhelming box office disappointment, because something like Harry Potter should be making the money that Hamilton made, for example. But it's not going anywhere. I just thought I would comment on that. I think Harry Potter's always kind of under-delivered. And I think there are various reasons why. Like, I think the story isn't that great, and then the tourists only come so often, and it's not really compelling to a lot of other people, and the Potter brand is in such disarray now these days because of J.K. Rowling. But even before then, the show was just not, it didn't, like, it was supposed, like, this show was supposed to have an average ticket of 200, be doing 1,819,000, like, in September, you know what I mean? And I think everyone can agree with me on that. Kimberly Akimbo desperately needs those Tony Awards, going from 90% to 93%, but the gross went from 485,000 to 466,255, so really not good. And if it wasn't a Best Musical Contender, this would be closing. Moulin Rouge went from 100.26 to 100.37. I think this was Aaron Tveit's final week because the overall gross was very high. It went from 1,561,624 to 1,801,000. This is the best Moulin Rouge has done since 2019. And so I do wonder if this is the Aaron Tveit effect, or if it will continue to sustain this momentum, because in the fall it was not doing these numbers. It wasn't failing, but it was doing low millions. The average ticket was like 120, now it's 172, and that top ticket is $699. Like, it's a very expensive show to run, especially with the rights for the song, so it doesn't need to make it 801,000 a week, but 200, 300, 400, 1,200,000, 1,300,000, 1,400,000 is where it succeeds. You know, the lowest it can go really is that low $1 million range, and anything below that is when we get into big trouble. But for right now, Moulin Rouge is safe, and it's never succeeded, it's never failed or had a danger of closing. But, you know, it's a very expensive show to run, and so when it has numbers like this, you know it's safe and secure. New York is doing exactly what a new show should be doing, going from 89% last week to 93% this week, going from 870,814 to 931,111. And again, this is exactly the kind of momentum, top ticket price, and gross you want to see for a new show, something that shows like Shucked haven't done. So New York is good. Parade went from 99.34 to 99.36, going from 1,158,493 to 1,134,593. It doesn't even need to be doing these numbers, so it is over excelling. It's exceeded expectations. I wouldn't be surprised if it extends, because this show is doing so good. It could make 800,000 and it would have been fine. So I think this might extend. Shocked went from 482,196 last week to 554,956, going from 97% last week to 95% this week, and there were comps because it was opening night and all that stuff. So, but still not bad. I think that the really determinant is next week's grosses, when the average ticket goes up to the regular Broadway prices, and whether or not this fails or succeeds. Personally, I think this can make it through May, June, July, August. I think it could maybe last longer than I thought, but I just don't think it will be here next year, and that's what the bottom line is. And I think that especially in the fall and maybe even the summer, they're going to be doing like 70%, 60%, 500, 600, 700. Like, I just don't see Shucked ever getting to 800K. And 800K is like the minimum that they need to do. So that basically means that it's not really going to succeed financially. And I don't hate on the show. I'm not trying to wish for its downfall. I'm just saying it how it is. 6 went from 1,173,930 to 1,208,378, going from 100.40 to 100.25. Some Like It Hot is doing much better, going from 827,142 last week to 849,521 this week, going from 74% to 78%. And I do think that this show can make it through the summer and maybe even go until next year, like close in January. I still don't think the show's going to be here next year. And these are the kind of numbers that it should have done at the beginning of its run, but I am glad it's picking up momentum. I think with the Tony noms that they are going to get, it will do very well in May and June. It'll do okay in the summer, but I think once the fall hits, we'll start to see its decline, and then it will probably close. Sweeney Todd is continuing to do big numbers, going from 1,734,930 to 1,790,826. I mean, these numbers are just ginormous in 100% capacity. And the Phantom of the Opera is making $3 million in its final week and selling out with 101.72% capacity, and 3,648,872 this week, which is just so mammoth. So overall, Broadway did amazing this week. All shows did very well. Some shows did incredibly high numbers, and you love to see Broadway succeeding. A lot of my predictions still stand on new shows and old shows, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure to like, sub, and comment, and I'll see you next week for another round of B-Way Grosses. Peace.